You're up. You're up.
Okay, finally. Okay. Are you going to do a countdown too? Okay. Are you ready to go? Hey, everyone. I hope everybody's having a good Thursday. KNWA Chief Meteorologist Dan Skoff, Zach Gilday. We had a little bit of issues with the computer here. It wasn't connecting to the stream for some reason. We're also having, just to let you know, some issues about Facebook. So I don't know, something's not streaming. Maybe you're not able to see it. Let us know if you can hear the stream. I know there's kind of some issues with the microphones and stuff like that. So but I think we got it all figured out. So let us know. It says no volume on X. I don't know. Yeah. Someone says they like the Rob Zombie music. Yeah, we're kicking it up a notch, right, Zach?
They'll be at the Walmart app.
Yeah, the Rob Zombie.
Coming
Okay.
up.
So let's see. Jillian can hear. Gillian can hear. Jeff can hear. Martha's can hear. All right. So we got a lot of stuff going on. So first of all, I want to go ahead and start off with the weather graphics here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take you through the 2-day forecast, and we're going to take you through severe weather potential. Then we're going to take you through what's happening with the eclipse forecast. And I know if you guys have questions, let us know, comment away. And let me say this, Michael. There's been some issues on Facebook, some big time issues. Can we make this full screen too? I'd love to make this full screen where you get to see the entire screen. So there you go. But there's a look at, again, the Facebook said they were having some issues with the stream, and Facebook was aware of the issues, but so there's going to be some issues with the technical glitches, but that's just, we had computer problems. We had other stuff.
Issues with WSI. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Just always technical glitches. But we got to iron them all out before severe weather potential. So here's the forecast for the River Valley tomorrow. Look at the morning lows. We're going to be very nice and mild. Here's a look at the Northwest Arkansas forecast. So we got some definitely some nice weather over the Easter weekend. Zach, it's going to be windy though, isn't it?
Yeah, it might not be windy now, but by tomorrow morning when you wake up, it's definitely going to be a bit breezy. And there is a good part about that wind. It's going to usher in some warmer weather.
Yeah.
Remember, this morning was quite cold. Tomorrow morning's not going to be as cold. Should be a bit milder. And during the afternoon, should be a nice day, maybe even a Foxy Friday coming up. But that wind might make it not. So
all right. So Rena's already wanting us to dive into the details. What are the threats for severe weather on Monday? We're going to get to that. Of course, we're 5 days out, according to the Storm Prediction Center. So there's still a lot of stuff that can change. But in order to have severe weather, what are the ingredients? You got to have the moisture, got to have the lift, what do they call that? What is SLIM, right? You have a SLIM, surface moisture, lift, instability, and a mechanism. So that's what they teach in storm spotter training. Watch this moisture surge northward. I'm talking about a big dew point surge. So we're going from the 40s and 30s dew points like we had the last couple of days, and now we got the fuel for thunderstorms. And we're talking about dew points in the lower to middle 60s, which will lead to, let's just say, some storm potential.
Yeah, that could be those dark greens, those coming into northwest Arkansas. That could be trouble.
This is the first system, I think, where we've really had this abundance of moisture.
Yep.
Think about the system that came in, was it a week ago or 2 weeks ago, Thursday?
Yeah.
That system didn't have dew points in the mid 60s.
No, and we still had softball size hail.
Yep. So don't forget that. Now, here's a look at the severe weather risk. This is what I think the surface map is going to look at, going to look like. So let me hint at this here. I'll bring this up full screen so you can see. But here's a look at the dry line. Dry line's off to the west. This is what I think the surface map is going to look like. Now, the Weather Prediction Center has the front all the way south. I don't believe that, especially with a positively tilted trough. That dry line is going to be positioned in central and eastern Oklahoma, and that could lead to some storm potential, especially over us. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll take a look at that severe weather potential. But notice that some severe storms that will be possible just off to the west. So we'll go ahead and we'll bring up that camera again. But there's a look at the severe weather potential over northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. All hazards possible. It includes our entire weather coverage area. Zach, what are some of the things you put the forecast together today? I had a lot of stuff going on. So what are some key takeaways with this system?
Well, you can see the energy right now. It's a big low pressure area off the Pacific Northwest, and that's going to be digging come this weekend across the Rockies and taking a big dive to the desert Southwest. It's going to just might even go negatively tilted. And what that means is that it's going to be a bit quicker. So we're going to see the that front come through, and we're going to potentially during peak heating, which we do not want to see.
It's going to be Monday evening, potentially. We're looking at some high-resolution modeling data. Just to let you know, this is the system right here. You can see it digging. It's a really large trough. Look at that low that's developing. Now, one of the things you'll notice is the winds over the next few days. Those winds crank up because of this system that's organizing. Large dip in the jet stream that's going to be taking place. Now, I'm going to kind of dive into, I'm going to transition because these are the graphics that I had on the newscast tonight. And if you missed it, this is what I talked about. So what we're going to do is we're going to look off to the west, and you can see the system that's diving in on Monday is moving in to the Pacific Northwest and then eventually across the Eastern Pacific. 7 days later, we've been in this pattern where we've seen a storm system at the beginning of every week.
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks.
It's been several weeks. So tornado potential, we can't say this far out. You know, there's so many ingredients that have to be ironed out. Everything has to come together. What we can do, Hydra, is look at some of the computer modeling data, and we're going to do that in just a little bit. But as far as what we're looking at for tornado potential, it's still a ways out. But here's the deal. It's early April. It's late March, early April. If you remember the tornado that hit Little Rock, that was on March 31st. This is the climatologically favored season for severe weather. So, well, the reason I'm showing you this 7 days later is there's still a lot of time for this to evolve. But you'll see the big pattern. We have this pattern. We're stuck in a pattern where we have systems 7 days apart. Here's one. Here's two. Now watch what happens over time. That starts to lift northward. It becomes very slow moving, positively tilted trough. There you see the energy as it continues to move eastward. Now you see that system starting to organize across the western United States. So it's going to be quiet for Thursday. It's going to be quiet for Friday. And then guess what? High clouds start rolling in Saturday, maybe even Friday, high clouds start rolling in. And then look at this big, giant dip in the jet stream on Sunday.
That's cloud cover. That's Baja Blast City.
That is Baja Blast City. That's also
severe weather.
That's severe weather.
It's negatively tilted.
That's a negatively tilted trough.
Yeah.
If we were to divide this trough axis here, and I'll show you what I mean. Look at this. That's negative tilt. Remember, positive tilt is what we're seeing next week or this weekend. So I'll stop it. We divide that trough axis like this, and that's what's called a positive. Well, let me do this here, actually. I'll draw it this way. That's a positively tilted trough. Now, a couple things with positively tilted troughs. They're slower to move in. So this severe weather threat might be Tuesday instead of Monday. But I think Monday evening is going to be most likely the time. But I am very concerned about cloud cover. I mean, here's the deal. A day 5 outlook, that is big, that's going to be definitely an issue. And because of all the energy that's swinging in that the models clearly won't pick up on, right, Zach? We know this.
Yeah.
We know this, which is what exactly the Prodigy says is prefrontal troughs on Monday. Absolutely. You know why? Because look at the size of this system, and then look at that energy that's swinging in, and that's going to bring the potential for some storms. And that's something that we don't want to see. Look at all that energy, Zach.
Yeah, so Sunday evening might be some storms.
Yeah.
Remember, that's Easter. Might be watching out for that. And I was looking, even Saturday, there might be some energy coming in. Probably not severe, but
probably could be some rain.
Yeah.
Because there's all these little disturbances. This is what we call the Baja Blast, and for good reason. Guess what? Models stink at this type of weather pattern. They do. They just flat out do. And there you see that energy, and then that system starts moving eastward, and that's just too much trouble right there. There's so much energy. Now, with that being said, as it moves out, it clears out. This would be great weather right here for the eclipse. Boy, that would be beautiful. But then look at what happens. Here comes the next weather system, and that's swinging in. That looks nasty. That looks like trouble. But here's what I want to say is that if this does come in on April 7th, let's say it comes in the morning of April 7th into the night of April 7th, April 8th is going to be nice.
So if it speeds up, that's good.
Yep.
If it slows down, it's not good. But again, still, this is way far out.
Yeah. Yep.
So
it is. It's
change.
way far out. So
Could
that's why
change.
we're talking about it. And that's why Gwen always has to say more hype. Always there's one of them, isn't there?
But
always one of them.
it's
Gotta
definitely-
be the one.
It's definitely worth noting that the past few weeks, we've had these early weeks.
We're not
storm
hyping.
systems.
All we are is just basically saying what's happening right now with the weather patterns. The potential is there, and one of these days it's gonna hit you right in the kisser. All right, let's take a look at our. Let's take a look at the GFS model. You want to look at that?
Yeah.
So let's look at the GFS. Here's a look at the big dip in the jet stream as we go into Monday. Once again, another large positively tilted trough, a lot of energy. It moves eastward. It's quiet Wednesday, Thursday. And now look, now we got another big system. Now here's the problem with this. The European is combining all of the energy into one piece on Sunday. The GFS is not.
Yeah.
So there's more energy. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at cloud cover, and we're going to do that by looking at, we're going to bring up some computer models. This is some of the stuff that we can look at. And so we can go ahead and bring that up and look at some computer models from the forecast. So first of all, this is a look at the composite reflectivity. And this is for our Monday. And so remember, this is a ways out. There's going to be some issues. And yes, Gwen, you know what? There are people that are like that. In fact, they're called sports anchors. And they're not only that, they're called sports analysts. Go take a look at your bracket and tell me what you got. So there are people that can be as wrong as us. And by the way, do you know that we were the most accurate in the market? I don't know. If you keep it up, you might get blocked, to be honest with you. And then you won't get any weather information. So if you want that, that's fine. You can do that. Not going to take it anymore. Seriously, not. Let's take a look at the composite reflectivity. Look at the storms that are popping up, potentially. And this is what it could be looking like. And we can do a loop, by the way. If you go in there and you do a forecast loop, and that way it doesn't flash and flicker and all that stuff. We go into the top right and we click on forecast loop. We'll be going ahead and you'll see that popping up. I'm just going to ignore it. All right, let's look at the capping potential too. Let's bring it up full screen. We can't really see that very well. We'll look at some photographs. And so I want to go ahead and look at some computer model photographs. Got to bring that up full screen on some of the smaller devices. So here's a look at the photographs, and they're not super impressive, but there is a way to look at that very easily. If you click on the single animation, under pivotal weather, Denton, and you're going to click on that. And then you're going to go in the top right and you're going to see forecast loop. Forecast loop makes it a lot easier. It's the second panel. There you go. Now we can scroll through and we can look at this a lot easier. And just by dragging the little dot on the screen. Yeah, Alex, I'm okay. But you know what? I'm really getting kind of tired, to be honest with you, of the old saying how meteorologists are always wrong and can be wrong all the time and still get paid for it and all that stuff, and how we're hyping everything and how we're going always crazy with storms, and we always have someone that's commenting negatively, but yet they still keep watching. And so it is kind of frustrating. And we're real people too. So anyways, there's a look at the computer models, and you can see on some of the photographs as well, all of that energy moving in. Let's look at the cloud cover forecast for what we've got with the storm at night. Now, those photographs start getting a lot better as we go into Monday. And so that's Monday afternoon, evening. You can see that instability coming up. And April 4th looks great, by the way. Storms are going to move out. Should be pretty quiet, Alex. Going to be really nice. There's a look at the instability that starts coming back. Now, remember, models oftentimes underestimate instability. And as we move along in time here, you're going to see that surface-based cape. It is pretty widespread all across the area. And this is going to be essentially over Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. There's a large area of instability that's going to be popping up. And so that's going to lead to the potential for some pretty significant storms, especially with the energy that's moving in. And there you can see that pushing through. So that's something that we're going to watch. And you know what? I'm going to do this here. Bring this up full screen. We can see it a lot better. Huh, Zach?
I was going to say, I can't really see that.
No kidding. That was tough to see because we had it kind of on a smaller screen. So this is the NWS blend of models. This is called the NBM. The NBM is okay. It's not great. But it does do an okay job. So if we advance this to the time of Monday morning, we can see the instability. But if you advance it a little bit more, you're going to see those CAPE numbers starting to climb and then starting to push out. So those are some of the things that we're looking at in terms of the forecast loop for instability. So we know the instability is popping up. There's no doubt about that. We know that there's going to be plenty of moisture from the atmosphere. As we look at the precipitable water, you can see that Sunday morning. We already got the Gulf. That's called the Gulf opening for business. Let's just say that, as we have that potential for storm activity. And I mean, you can look at any type of different parameters and stuff like that. Now, this is one thing that I do want to show you. And this is called the SIPS model. So this is called an analog. And this is the Colorado State analog. And you're going to notice here that this is the potential for severe weather for the system for day 5. And if you roll over day 6, you're going to see a larger area too. So there's a lot of stuff here with the potential. Look at that bullseye. You see that, Zach?
Right over us.
Where is that? Yeah, day 4 off to the west. Day 5. Yeah, so we got some issues here. And then day 4 is what do we have for day 4? 96 hours. We're going to have to control this ourselves. There's a look at the storm activity in the western Oklahoma area. So day 4 storms Sunday off to the west. Day 5 going to be over Monday. And so that is Monday afternoon, evening. And then you've got day 6 as it moves eastward. Let's look at some of the individual parameters. So go back to day 5. Let's look at wind and hail up at the top. So there's a look at the wind parameter. Definitely a potential for some damaging winds. We look at the hail parameter. We definitely have that right smack dab over us. And finally, tornado. 5 days out, pretty much right over us. I mean, let's face it, climatologically favored, we have that potential for, severe weather.
That's why we're saying all hazards possible.
Yeah, that's exactly why. This is a good question. How many of you have heard of the Lezak recurring cycle? The Lezak recurring cycle is essentially something that is, you can bring me up full here on the camera. So the Lezak recurring cycle is something that Gary Lezak, a meteorologist that used to work in Missouri, Springfield, Missouri, and also Doug Hetty with the Hetty cycle, who forecast a long ways out. They know that these weather patterns are kind of like in 40, 45, 50-day cycles. Yeah. So the thing is that sometimes these storms you can predict, maybe not exactly, but you can have an idea when a system's coming in. Zach, I got to be honest, it's pretty good.
Yeah, because you're saying that because the past few weeks we've been having these storms earlier in the week.
Yeah.
And I think that trend might continue. At least it's definitely looking like it could.
Yeah, you've heard of it. You've heard of the Lezak side. So I honestly don't know how to look at this. I haven't understood it. And it's something that I actually wanted to ask Doug Eddy and talk about. But when you have these cycles, you can go back and say it's a recurring cycle. So what happened 40 days ago will repeat itself and come again. But it makes sense because you've got ebbs and flows, waves of energy that are swinging in, right? You can read about it. I know. I've looked at it. I'm just saying like it's kind of tough to, let's just say, decipher, if you will.
Yeah.
I know what it is. I don't necessarily know how to look at it. I guess something I got to learn. And I know that it's not a gimmick, because some of my friends will text me and say, hey, watch out for this time frame to see, for storm activity, and it'll come to fruition. Teamwork makes the dream work. There's always stuff to learn. We don't know it all. That's for sure. So I did. I don't even know I did. I don't think yeah.
I remember that.
It's only a couple people that I've done that to, John. But anyways, all right. Let's look at cloud cover forecasts for the eclipse. That's what we want to do, because we had a question here coming here. What does eclipse weather look like?
That's the $1 million question.
Looks like trash, Donna. That is awful. Everywhere where it's blue, you have nearly 100% cloud cover. And that is, by the way, 18Z. 18Z is essentially, you guessed it, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, just an hour before totality. And look at what you've got. Cloud cover everywhere. Let's zoom out a little more. Let's go along the entire eclipse path. Let's see what we've got. Let's go to the continental U.S. Are you kidding me?
Could not be worse.
Wow.
Maybe even Niagara Falls area up there. But I still keep in mind, this is 264 hours out. So this is definitely not exactly what it's going to be, but could be a good idea about what might happen.
What model is this here? Got to scroll up to the top. I can't even see what model this is here. So this is the GFS. Now remember that GFS had the extra energy. Can we do European? Pretty sure we can. Let's look at the European and bring up the cloud cover forecast on that. There's also a learned forecast. Now, the European, this is only the 90-hour because it only goes out to 18Z. GFS obviously goes out longer than the European. But if you click on get on the 12Z model, and then we can go out to 10 days out, which will be April 7th, we can get an idea of what's going to happen. So we can bring that back up. I know, is that the worst cloud cover forecast you could possibly imagine? Now, this right here shows the 12Z. That's as far as it goes out, 240. It's the European model. And you've got 12Z showing, again, a lot of cloud cover. But that is the day before the eclipse.
Yeah.
So maybe that low as it kicks east will
you can see the low. You can see the circulation.
You can see the giant low.
That's wraparound cloud cover.
It's called a comma head. Yeah.
Yeah. Typical cyclone formation.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you don't get any wraparound cloud cover. Spoil the party.
That's possibly too, but maybe that
I think that'd be a little bit.
With that being so negative tilt, that might kick off to the east. So there's not complete hope lost. Do we have the CFS forecast? CFS is another climate forecast system that's a long ways out. And we can look at not necessarily cloud cover, but we can look at upper air, and we can look at essentially, this is for April 8th. It's a lot of moisture, which leads to cloud cover, by the way, and also severe weather potential. Let's go to upper air. And with upper air, remind us you subtract 5 hours, by the way. Look at the 500 millibar heights and wind, and you're going to see a giant trough of low pressure. Oh, come on.
Man. You see that southwest flow. That's what we do not want to see, because that means potential for pieces of energy to come spinning off that low that's down there. And
that's just not very good.
Yeah, and it's been doing this the past couple of weeks. Early in the week, we've been in southwest flow.
That's I've been saying it for a while. I'm concerned, not completely giving up hope, but I'm concerned about cloud cover for the eclipse.
Yeah, this time next week, we're going to have a really good idea of what's going to happen.
Yeah. So Josh is saying, yes, it is the Storm Prediction Center that is talking about severe weather potential. Not us, but the Storm Prediction Center that's talking about the day 5 convective outlook.
Yeah, there's the day 5 right there.
Yeah. Look at the large area. Now, another thing we can do is we can bring that up full here. Let's take a look here. Sorry about that. We'll go ahead and we'll take that up full and look at the weather graphics here. And we'll bring this up on WSI so it gives you an idea of what the surface map's going to look like. Yeah, Rena's right. It's going to be a long spring for the severe weather season just starting. Sounding for Monday. Let's go ahead and we'll check that out. So we'll bring that up on Pivotal Weather. We'll look at 0Z Tuesday, which will be 7 p.m. And that's going to be for April 2nd. I know, 5 days out, that is a huge area, isn't it? I see them going 30% in a couple of days. Yeah, day 3 will probably be 30%. So can we do, let's do a split screen here. Yeah, there you got tornado potential. Let's go to show map, see where that's clicked on. And so we're basically clicked kind of over Madison County, moved to the west a little bit. And there you got tornado potential. Now the shear, a little bit more southwesterly flow than I would like to see for that real strong tornado potential, but it's still potential. Instability is there. We do have a very unstable profile. Now that's what is that? That's only showing, 67 degrees at 7 o'clock. That is absolute garbage on the high temperature. Go to the European model. Let's go back to that sounding. And we're going to take a look here at, we could look at the photographs and then we could click on it. So that's going to be just 7 a.m. That's not the right time. That's capped. That's in the morning. You got to go to the 12Z because 18Z is only 90 hours. So we're going to go past that. See that photograph start increasing. And 4 p.m. called for bad storm January. I have favored the Euro too. So this is the European. It has a Cape Robber. Let's go forward. You're still not in the time where it's the peak heating. So there's 7 p.m. That's a little bit better of a photograph. That's a pretty good straight line photograph. And that's a marginal toward just because of that Cape Robber, if you will. That's in the low levels. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that about does it. I think we covered everything. I think that's everything that we have. And so if you have any more questions, let me know. 1 kilometer instability on a global. Ouch. Yeah. Or 1,000 Cape. Yeah. It's trouble, guys. It is. It's trouble. It's a large system. We're not hyping it. We're not saying anything extra. All we're saying is that the potential for severe weather is there. We need to watch it. It'll be quiet. But you guys have a glorious and wonderful Easter weekend.
Yeah.
And you know what? Easter is an amazing, amazing time to celebrate.
Oh,
for sure.
Best time. Good Friday's tomorrow. Enjoy it.
Yep.
Should be a nice day. Bit breezy. And then weekend forecast looking pretty good.
Yeah. A little breezy, though, like
Yeah.
you said. I do want to say quick note. Cloud cover during the eclipse is going to make it creepy dark, especially for those in the 100% area. You're right, the Prodigy. And that's one thing that is definitely going to be something that we could look at.
I mean, I feel like even if it's cloudy, it's still going to be a thing to see. It's still going to be
you're going to see the environment, to see what it does.
To see the environment change, to see
Yeah.
what the animals do and what the crickets and the birds and everything. It's going to be an experience.
Now, I don't know about this. So there's a guy saying that when there's an eclipse, that after there's usually an earthquake. No. I mean, it could happen. I'm not saying it doesn't, but that's hype right there. When you're talking about the New Madrid, when you're talking about you having to buy groceries for weeks because of a 4-minute, 20-second time that the sun gets blocked out, that's hype. You want to talk about hype? That's hype. We're not hyping that. I'm hyping the event of the eclipse, but I'm not hyping any of that. Fort Smith is not in 100% totality, believe it or not. And I'm going to show you this because there's a couple things that we have to tell you about the eclipse because we still have 350 people on here, okay? And an eclipse is a really rare, unique thing. And this is what makes it so unique. I know. I will. Well, you can just hit enter too. Put the data set on there. So this is what I've got to stress as much as I can. This is a look at the path of totality. What you're looking at here is in between these red lines, okay? And you know what, Zach? You're right. I am going to put it in the show because that's a better move because then I'll be able to point out stuff. I'll be able to zoom in. I'll be able to draw. I'll be able to do all sorts of stuff. Great call. And we also got the cities on there. So now we're going to zoom in and you're going to see the path of totality. Now, Fort Smith, we had the question about Fort Smith. Fort Smith is so stinking close to the path of totality that if you stay in Fort Smith and don't get to totality, that would be such a mistake. It really would. I know there's some people that are working, they won't be able to do it. But do you want to know how far away that is from the Fort Smith Regional Airport? I mean, it's 2.5 miles.
It's a quick 5K.
That is. It's a 3.1.
Get the mirror souls
It's a
on,
5K.
you'll be there in no time.
That's right. But the thing is, this is what's unique about an eclipse, and I don't think people know about this as much. You see how wide that shadow is? It's approximately 100 miles across. We can look at that by drawing this on the map. Take it straight across, and it's about 120 miles across. So if I draw it straight across, It's a little over 100 miles. Go back over here. We want to draw it straight across. So that shows you, yeah, it's about 120 miles across. What people don't know, and this is what's so important, is that the closer you are to that blue line, and Zach, scoot on in here, the longer your totality is. So if you can get to the center line, you'll experience a lot more of totality if this is all pending cloud cover, which could be messing everything up. But you want to get too close to the center. So Clarksville gets about 3 minutes 30 seconds of totality. Russellville gets 4 minutes 12 seconds. Center line gets about 4 minutes 20 seconds. Fort Smith, 99.99% eclipsed. But you know what? You'll see the shadow off in the distance, but you won't see the corona. You won't see Bailey's beads. You won't see the prominences. You won't see the photos, the chromosphere. You won't see the diamond ring. You won't see any of that. So you just have to get a little ways south. If you're in Boonville or Mount Magazine gets actually under 4 minutes of totality because here's the center line, and then there's totality. Now, there are websites, by the way, where you can look this up. So if you have a place that you're wanting to go, let me know. I'll share my screen, and we'll bring up one of my favorite maps, time and date. And what time and date will allow you to do is to see the total solar eclipse. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share my window. Let me know what you're looking for in terms of cities. So I'll give you an example. We're going to zoom in. The shading goes off. Northwest Arkansas, not total. Memphis, not total. Little Rock is total, but watch this. We're going to click on Little Rock. Look at the time, 2 minutes, 30 seconds. That was as long as the eclipse was in, or just a little over what the eclipse was in 2017. Let's go to, how about Atkins? 4 minutes, 17 seconds. What about Russellville? 4 minutes, 12 seconds. The farther you get away from that center line, the quicker totality drops off. You might be going, well, why is that? 2 minutes, 24 seconds in Ozark. Barling, 52 seconds.
Ooh, quick one.
It's quick. So why is that? Well, it makes perfect sense. The reason for that is the moon shadow. The moon shadow is essentially it's a sphere, right? It's a circle. That's, by the way, some cloud cover. These are the high resolution cloud cover forecasts. We don't have any lines on there, so that's kind of trash. Don't have any state lines, but yeah, it's the pattern is not favorable, folks. It really is not. But I'm going to show you here something for the eclipse path. So I'm going to bring this up real fast. This is the path of the eclipse. And what you're going to notice, actually, I'm going to do this. I want to do this right here. This graphic will show you. So here's the moon shadow. It's a circle, right? So if you're in the center of the circle, you're under the shadow longer. But if you're on the edge of the shadow, you don't get it as long. That makes perfect sense.
Makes sense. If the moon was a square, it would be all equal.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not. If you're wanting to know times, what time is totality? Well, the eclipse starts around 12:32. 1:45 is when totality starts for Southwest Arkansas. Waldron is just a little before 1:50. Poto is a little before that. And look at how Poto just barely gets into totality. Clarksville, yes, not as much. Russellville, Danville, Clinton, and then it continues northeast. But that's exactly why we have totality a lot longer. Let's go to the cloud cover and the high res again. And I'm going to bring this up here. If we can, we'll bring this up full with a look at some of the advanced modeling. So we looked at this earlier, and this is essentially the high resolution forecast for the Euro. it shows a lot of cloud cover, and clearly that's not a very favorable pattern. And that is for Monday, 9Z. That's the storm, though, for this weekend. Let's go ahead and we'll go to next weekend. And it doesn't go out far enough. It'll only go to Sunday. But it gives you an idea. Of course, there's going to be storms and cloud cover, but look at the clearing behind it. So that if that short wave moves in and we get a massive system coming in Sunday, then we might be totally clear. So that's what we're hoping for. All right, guys. Well, that about does it. Wraps it up for this eclipse forecast. Cloudiest time in history. I know. So true. Let's see. I don't know when you guys want. Oh, did she comment on here? I don't see her comment. My wife might have commented, but did my wife comment? It'll still be awesome even if it's cloudy. It's too early to know. That's true. We'll be taking drone video. And get this, I got to mention this. We've got access to a very awesome high-powered telescope that will allow us to stream what the telescope sees on our weather broadcast, on our stream, on our live eclipse special. You're not going to see that anywhere else.
Nope.
Only us.
Going to be going live, right?
Nobody else is going to be able to see that.
It's going to be pretty cool.
And I'm getting training on that telescope tomorrow. And I got to give a shout out to Explore Scientific. It's the Unistellar telescope. Wait. What's the name of the Interstellar is the movie?
So it's Unistellar.
It is Unistellar.
Yeah.
I was thinking, is that the name of the movie? It's been a long day.
Close.
So, anyways, I got to go. I'll see you later. Gwen, I hope you have a happy Easter if you're still on here. And we will catch you later. Have a good one. Take care. The Unistellar Quest 2 is the name of the telescope. It's legit. All right, guys. Take care. We're out. See ya. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your night. And we'll see you tomorrow. We'll take a look at the cloud cover forecast. Maybe everything's gone by then. Thanks for watching, man. Appreciate it.